Since I have Photoshop on my system, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do a couple of these. It's already loaded here, but I can hit the picture, right click on it, open with Adobe Photoshop Elements 10, let it go through its thing. This picture here really isn't all that bad, but I can make it look a little bit better real quick by going over here to Quick. And then I just slide the shadow over just a little bit and it brightens it way up. And that's a whole lot better. And then now I have to hit save, which I hit Control S because there's no save icon on here that I know of other than going to File and go through there, which takes longer. This one gives you the save option. It's saving in the same format. It's actually now asking me if I want to replace the original one, which I do. And then this gives me an opportunity to up it a little bit. And then since that's a nice picture and I might want to blow it up, I'm going to go ahead and move it over here to larger file all the way to the right. So it's the highest quality picture I can get. And then I'm going to hit OK. And it saved it as a higher quality picture. And since I already have all my pictures opened up in another window, which is right under here, I can just click on this, go to my next picture, and I just drag it over. Now if I drag it up top here, what usually happens is it changes it on the back window, but I have to pop it to get to that screen, which is kind of a pain if you're doing it a lot. I'm going to move my shadow over to brighten it up a little bit. It's a small picture, it's one of those 1/10s, so I'm going to crop it. There's a cropping tool on here. And I'm just going to crop the area that I want. Yep, there's the little green checkbox. Hit that. Now it's cropped. And I'm going to hit save on this one. Control S, the shortcut. And I'm going to leave the file name the same. And replace the original, yes. And yes to this. And now it's saved. Click off the screen. Now what I found out that works even better than having to go right across is if I take it straight across down to the bottom and drop it off underneath the bin, project bin, then it goes straight to it without having to do anything. And I'm going to brighten it up a little bit. It's a nice shot. Didn't seem to do much. I'm just going to leave it as is. Save. And I don't care about this one. It's not a very good picture, so I'm going to move the large file size back 1.1. I like to keep them around 1 meg. That way if you zoom in on something it stays pretty well focused. This is the picture I wasn't sure about. Drop it in the bottom. And let's see if we can get that cat to show up in it. It's got her awfully bright blue. I'll change the mid-tone a little bit and change the saturation a little bit. It's starting to come in. Looks a little too blue, maybe a little too red up there. I'll go to the tint a little bit. Still can't see her hair over here. Can't see the cat, this black cat here. I just think this is just going to be one of those bad picture things. Take the saturation back the other way. And it's probably right about there the best. Control S. A lot of these pictures look a little bit dingy, so if I just drag them over to Photoshop, slide the shadow over just a little bit, brightens them up considerably. Just hit save, and then I'm also stepping up the picture a little bit. Now that I have all the photos, edited, I'm going to bring them under this file under Pinnacle to make a slideshow out of them. I click the file to find out which one I want to use. Oops, I forgot to click it on photo. Back this up. Cancel. I'm going to click photo here first because that's when it gives me the file folders. This is the last one I used on the last edit, slideshow. Click the file there and it brings me up to my choices. Click here and I'm looking for Jill's Europe 2. And that's the ones I just now finished editing. I also have the other one to do in a little bit later. Click any one of them and hit open. And this takes a while. It's going to take probably about 5 minutes to load all the pictures on here and all that stuff. Now that it's loaded all the pictures on here, I can do a lot of ways. I can drag one picture down onto the storyboard, or I can hit Control A, and then it highlights all the pictures I have on the whole slideshow, and drag any of them in and it drags the whole bundle down onto this storyboard line. Takes a couple minutes for them to process out. Now in photos, I have it set for about 2.5 seconds or 2 1/3 seconds for the length of each picture on the storyboard, but that's so small it's hard for me to see which picture is what picture is. If you drag the timeline and slide it over, you actually can make them big enough you can actually see what the pictures actually are. And then what I want to do, I already edited the picture, so I like the pictures pretty much how they are, but sometimes you want the picture to move. And so like if, oh I don't know, say this picture here, I wanted to have the camera move around on it, I'd click this and then click this icon over here. It opens up a tab, a selection, and pan and zoom was the last thing I used, so it defaults goes to that because I use it a lot. I'm going to click animation, animate from start to finish. I have the choice of zooming in on the beginning or the end or any part I want. I'm going to put that I'm going to zoom in on the end so the original stays the way it is. I move the zoom bar out and see how it grows, and I'm just going to pick some spot. I can move it around by left clicking on it, left button down on the mouse, and slide it around, and then I just hit OK, which is the same as Xing it out. And it does a little bit of rendering and it takes a while, but you can still visually watch it. I'm going to go back a little bit so you can see the transition as it goes into it. Now see it's panning over and blowing on it. Now I can make this board bigger here by sliding this little thing here over, and it makes it a lot bigger. The only problem with that is I can't get the drag tool, which is on the bottom of this thing, because it's off the screen. So I put that back about halfway, and after it does this little thing, it has this drag tool, this white tool over here, and it lets me drag it around to get the different pictures. It's still rendering all the stuff, and it's going to take a while, but it lets me work on it even though it's doing that. Generally what I do is I like to just start and kind of play it in, and I just kind of look for interesting pictures that might have something worth looking at. Like there's people down here in the bottom of this one here, but it's awful dark, so it's not going to be worth the trouble. And later on I'm going to put transitions in here, which makes the picture do weird things. Now before I get too far along, I'm going to save this because if the computer crashes or something like that, it makes it easier for me to do it. I'm going to just go ahead and name it the same as I had before. So I hit Control S, brings me to a save thing. I'm going to have, say, Jill Europe 2, and then that's the same as I did before. This is not saving the name. It's saving the name of the project. It's all it's really doing right now. It takes a few minutes for it to render its little thing. Now it's saved Jill's Europe 2 right there. And then I go along. Now this one has some people in it. Generally speaking, when there's people in it, it makes it much better to zoom in and stuff. Let's go. Got a guy's big fat belly here. A girl standing here. Let's zoom in on something here. Also, right now I have it set for like 2.5 seconds, 2 1/3 seconds. The part of the problem with that is when you do movement on it, it gets real jerky. If it's just a short time frame. So sometimes it's better to go ahead and widen it. If I run my cursor across on it until I get a blue arrow, that means I can slide the sequence longer. So now I've just added a second to that sequence. the seconds are hash marked out on it. And I'm going to go to my animate start to end. So I click on that. And this time I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm going to make that the zoom part. And so I run my zoom thing over. As you can see over here, it's blowing it up. It's just zooming on the guy's face. And X out, and that hits OK. And you can see here it's started off in his face and zoomed out.